Good afternoon, my name is Michael and today we're at Nostalgia Street Rods. Our featured car we have here today is a 1936 Dodge replica of a Salt Flats racer. This car was built as a tribute to a lot of people that would take cars out and go on the salt with them, and also just plain hot rodding. This has a modern Dodge 4-cylinder engine and automatic transmission in it. As you can see by the front of it here, it has a few hints that go back to the time that it was, when it was original. We have these type of shocks on it. It doesn't have tube shocks on it. These are old knee action shocks on the front. I'm sure we've got friction shocks on the back of it. Drum brakes, juice brakes, thank goodness, which would have been, in 36, Dodge would have definitely had that back then. This does have a straight axle in it, like a lot of cars did up until the later 40s when they came out with a ball joint type suspension and stuff. But a lot of your hot rods have this straight axle suspension and spring setup on it like this. We also have the wire wheels on it that would have been period correct for that time frame. The interior of this car is pretty cool. It has it's got an automatic transmission in it, but it has an 8-ball shifter. You push down the 8 on it and move your shifter where you want to, put it in what gear you want to select. It has full instrumentation. It has a nice set of old Stewart-Warner gauges in it all the way across there, which is pretty cool to have. Looks right at home in a car like this. Of course, your little bitty 4-spoke steering wheel on it. This is actually a metal car. I thought it was fiberglass, but then when I pound on it, it seems like it's metal to me, and it appears to be. If it's fiberglass, it's a very good job of it. We also have this not a real big long trip gas tank on the back. That was pretty common on these. They would just put a little bitty, at the most 10-gallon gas tank on the back of a lot of these. And as you can see back here too, we do have what they call friction shocks on the back. Those just work off of a spring basically. The more bump you have, the more they kind of grab a little bit into place. So that's pretty cool. Have a single taillight, which back in the day, a lot of these cars when they were new, actually up till probably the early 50s, they only would have the standard setup on those as one taillight on it, just a brake light and a running light. They didn't have dual lights on them. So this is pretty accurate for back then, and it has a blue dot in the middle of it, so when you hit the brakes, this blue just kind of illuminates quite a bit on it. Now the rear end of this thing has a buggy spring setup in the back of it too, I see, that goes across, but it's a transverse spring on the front of it, so it's kind of a mix of both here. This would have been the correct axle rear end for it, like that, with the worm gear drive like that. It's a little different kind of setup, but it's just a nicely done little tribute with a modern twist to it. So this, anybody could probably drive this thing. It's an automatic transmission, so it's very easy to drive. Although it doesn't have power steering or power brakes on it, it's still, being so light, it probably shouldn't be that difficult to drive. It'd be pretty, once you get it rolling, it shouldn't be too bad at all. So just a nice little tribute, nice little contrast of color of orange and black on here, so it stands out really nice. Nice short little windshield on it would have been correct for back then. They cut the windshield down. No top on this. It's a Roadster only, so you better not have any rain when you're out driving this thing. Hopefully you don't have any anyway. But and then of course down the side of the car there we have the exhaust. It has a collector on the side of the motor, and it runs down the whole side of the car there and goes out right behind in front of the rear wheel and the back there. So at least the exhaust note isn't right by the passenger here. It's over to the one side, so you're not having it so loud by you like that. But just a neat little tribute car. I like this. This is pretty cool. I like to see it out and running sometimes, so you never know. We might get it out here and run it in the parking lot a little bit. So one of the things I wanted to point out on this car too, it has leather straps on it to hold the hood down with. A lot of times when these cars were original, they had a piece that would extend down from the hood and go down here someplace and hook, so that would hold it in place. Well, the problem is you don't have that piece down there anymore, so their solution was, a lot of guys just simply took leather and riveted it or screwed it into the metal and strapped it down just like a belt. And that's what would hold the hood down. And it worked. It was worked very well. And we actually have them on this side and we have them on the other side as well. The other thing I'd like to point out on here too is the steering. This has a bar that goes across the inside of the cowl ahead of the steering wheel all the way across with a gearbox built into it, and that comes out to the side here. And this, when you turn your steering wheel, this goes back and forth, which in turn runs down here to move your wheels back and forth. So it's kind of a long, drawn-out affair, but it worked. And that's just one of the little things that they would do years ago just to make something easier so it would work okay. That's just what they had because there was no way to put a steering box on her anyplace, so that was their solution, was to do this. The other thing I'd like to point out on this side, a lot of cars of this time, this period, this probably has an air cleaner or carburetor or something underneath this. We call them a blister here. And what they would do is if they put everything all together and they tried putting the hood down, it would hit there so you couldn't close the hood. So their solution was to cut out an area that would be affected, and once they cut it out it would close. Well, then they wanted to put a cover over the top of it, so then they'd take a piece of metal and they would hammer it out so it would be curved like this to go away from that area that was on there, and then pop rivet, weld, or whatever this onto the other piece, and that would have a relief in there so you could still close your hood but still protect everything. So that was another interesting feature that they did back in those days. This is just one of the cars that we have in our museum down here at Nostalgia Street Rods. So come on down and take a look and book a tour and see what all we have here. We have a lot of other cars besides this here. We have actually 6 car museums all together, so it's a lot to take in. Thank you.